Oh, Danny boy, the CBC is calling. They say thank you for sporting their disguise. They need a plan to keep the people sleeping. 'Tis you, and time that they must buy. We expose exactly why Mr. Dix is turning into such a dick on the Ottawa Expositor.
Yes, hello folks, this is Justin of the Ottawa Expositor reporting for Free Radio Revolution. How's everything going today? For me, fun times. Mr. Dix. Can I call you Mr. Dix or can I call you Mr. Full of Dicks? Whatever you want to call it, that's fine. But you're full of crap, whatever you are. I'm not going to waste too much time on you, but I do want to use you as a good example for why the alternative media or the official alternative media is so messed up. And what I'd like to do today is introduce my audience to a few terms. Now, you guys may know them, but I'll just reiterate it as how it pertains to the crap that he's pushing out right now. The first term I'd like to give to you is called bait and switch. Now, normally it's a sales term, but that being said, it fits perfectly for this. So it denotes a deceptive method of selling by which customers attracted to a store by sale items are told either that the advertised bargain item is out of stock or is inferior to a higher priced item that is available. Now, there are different definitions and for different types of connotations to it. How it pertains to this, it's used a lot in cults. They say milk before meat, okay? So Dan Dix is known for his 9/11 research and as well as interviewing different Bilderbergs, yada, yada, yada. And he gains your trust by showing you information that a lot of people won't give to you. So he builds your trust, builds it up. And then when you start believing everything he says, which you should never do with anybody, he starts pushing in things that fit the agenda of the same people that we're trying to fight against. Okay, so that's what I mean by bait and switch. Okay, now the reason why this is so important is that he becomes a gatekeeper, and this is a gatekeeper tactic. And the definition of a gatekeeper is an attendant at a gate who is employed to control who goes through it. Now, for us in the truth movement, you have people using bait and switch tactics that give you information like Jesse Ventura, Alex Jones, Luke Rudkowski, as well as many other people, and of course our Canadian affiliate, Dan Full of Dicks. And basically, the way it works, he stays there, he gives you the information. It makes you feel that he's put you through the gate of all the truth. But in doing so, he's just keeping you in the foyer of information, and there's so much more beyond it. Okay, but he'll never show it to you. But you'll never even know because you feel like you have all the information. Okay? You feel like you're smarter than everybody else, you've been made the more wise, and you're good, you don't need to learn anything else. Okay? And one of the other ways that he was doing this today, and I noticed he was picking at semantics. And he's not the only person I've seen do this. A lot of the trolls on my channel now, and I don't get many. So usually when I get them, it denotes a motive, okay, by paid people or whatever. And people are arguing the semantics of a false flag. I'm not going to touch that. And the reason being is because I'm looking for proof that there's orchestration. There doesn't necessarily have to be someone died. There doesn't necessarily have no one died, that nobody got hurt. It's not necessarily that, but that I'm looking for the orchestration and why they're doing it. Okay? So this is why normally I feel semantics are important, but it's also used as a tactic to keep you focused on something menial, something that is not important. Okay, and don't get me wrong, yes, it is important, but what is more important right now is what they're trying to do with these laws that they're passing through, and I'll get to that in one moment. The other way that he was trying to keep you at the gate was by doing the exact same thing that all Canadian media does, and that's compare ourselves to Americans. He said that Americans are the ones that have had the most targeting when it comes to trying to keep people asleep and dumb people down. Well, I'm here to tell you 100% that Canadians are far more dumbed down than Americans, okay? Americans are directly affected by this New World Order, and it's much more obvious than the rest of the world, okay? And they also, there's many things that we can all pick at because they're a big nation, they're a very popular nation to talk about. So it's easy to attack certain things about Americans. But when it comes down to it, we are completely asleep because when you hear idiots like Dan Dix talk, and it's like, oh, well, we're not like that. We're much more informed. We think that we are better than Americans, and then we look at nothing else because we're good. We're all good. Well, you know what? We're idiots, okay? And one thing that I'd like to show why we're idiots, I think this is a good factor. This is my analytics for the past month, okay? As you can see, I'm doing it by gender, okay? And it's around 70% male and 30% female, which is great. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd love it to be 50-50, but 30% female, that's great. And when I go to rallies or different protests, usually the amount of females is a good denotation of how popular the movement is, okay? Or how well aware the entire population is. So when you see more than 10% females, you're looking at a good interest that people are a little bit more informed than normal, okay? So when you see 30% females, I love that. Now, let's take a look when you break it down by country. Okay, and I've talked to many other channels, and they say that this is about the same thing. United States, if you take a look at gender down in the corner, okay, the blue for males and the orange for females, okay, we're looking at about 66%, 2/3 American males and 1/3 American females. That is awesome. Good going, girls. That is great. Now let's compare that to our Canadian counterparts, okay? We're looking at more about less than half of the percentage of females. So we're talking, no more than 20% there. They are completely asleep here, okay? What a lot of girls, and I'm not trying to make fun of anybody, I'm not trying to put anybody down, I'm not saying that this is amongst all females, but Canadian females, if you bring this kind of stuff up, they're more likely to switch over about how they're going to do their hair next day. Not saying that guys aren't just as dumb, because they are, and I'm not trying to make fun of any groups, but I always find that the amount of females is a really good denotation of how aware people are. When you have the females in, that means you have a lot more interest. And as you can see here, Canadians have no interest about keeping their rights. Okay? No one is watching it. Why is there such a huge difference? Well, I tell you why. Because we keep getting told by idiots like Dan Dix that we are better than Americans, that we're smarter than Americans, that they're dumb, they're all kinds of messed up, and we shouldn't have to worry about ourselves. Well, we do, okay? We absolutely do. Here's the reason for this, that, he's telling you, it's all good, don't worry. And he's also saying the semantics of a false flag, we don't know, so we shouldn't jump to conclusions. We should be more patient. Well, I wonder why he's saying that. As you can see here today by the Globe and Mail, new counter-terrorism powers already coming in. The cyberbullying bill, okay? They want you to be patient. They want to buy your time so you focus not on the bills that are being passed. These bills, like the commissioner said police should in some cases, need less hard evidence to get court approval to track suspects or to monitor them online or by phone. Now, I wonder why that is, why they don't want that seen, okay? With only reasonable grounds to suspect, not believe, a crime may take place. I say again, a crime may take place or has taken place. I love how they euphemize all this kind of stuff further. The information being sought need only help the investigation, not necessarily point directly to a crime to get the order. Okay? They're trying to pass thought crime laws. If you think of something that they believe to be too radical, then you are committing a crime without doing anything. This is 1984. If you haven't read that book, read it now. You need to see what they're trying to do. They are trying to implement thought crime. Okay? Please take a look at this. And, of course, here's the proof in the pudding that Canadians are just as... No, we're more. We are absolutely more dumbed down than Americans. Okay? What's the most popular things at the bottom? The thing that you should be looking at next? Elizabeth May, who is the leader of one of our little party, was shaken up by Ottawa attack when she sent Jean Gomeshi tweets. And number 2, genius or offensive figure, how Gomeshi divides our mind. Well, it just so happened that Jean Gomeshi, one of our mainstream media douchebags, he just got blown his cover for being, I think it was a sexual deviant. I'm not even going to get into it because I don't give a crap, really. He's an idiot. And so is anybody that believes anything that any of our mainstream media says, but as you can see here, it's the 2 most popular. When there are laws being passed that are going to be banning your thoughts and going to allow CSIS and all security forces to be able to monitor you much more, this is what we think is truly important. John freaking Gomeshi. Guys, once again, you gotta wake up. These idiots like Dan Dix, not just in Canada, they're everywhere. You have your Alex Jones, you have your Luke Rukowski, you have everybody right now. And what are they talking about over at We Are Change? What was the last video that I just saw? It's talking about a pedophile ring. Don't get me wrong, pedophile, that's horrible. But they choose right now that all these 5 countries are passing pretty much the same laws at the one time, coincidentally at the same time that there's been terror attacks. Okay? We need to wake up. And guys, we can't take this crap anymore. This is Justin of the Ottawa Expositor reporting for Free Radio Revolution. Have a great day.